Welcome to Episode 8 of Where in the World, Season 4, the detailed showcase of cities and locations that have been visited in the Arcane Adventures campaign setting. For the majority of Season 4, we have followed the story across Mount Celestia, the realm of the Seven Heavens. However, for this 8th and final episode of Season 4, we return to the familiar world of Ilethia. As always, we have a map on screen that details the general location of the place we are talking about during today's episode, so that you can follow along with us as we explore. Let's jump right in to Episode 8 of Season 4, Where in the World? Belterus. Nestled on the shores of the Pinup coast, within the region of Pinup of Bupilasu, the walled city of Belterus is a populated port metropolis. The city is renowned for a number of reasons, and is the second largest city in the region of Pinup, second only to Nexus City. Belterus sits on the southern shores of the Pinup Bay. The glistening waters of the day-ridden ocean buttress the sandy beaches and cobblestone harbor of a busy port settlement. Belterus draws its name for the bell tower that used to sit at the city center. Following a fire in 7293 that destroyed the original bell tower, the tower was reconstructed and redesigned by Dr. Urag and improved to what stands in the city today, a clock tower. Belterus, like Nexus City, was constructed in the early years of Ayazlan's settlement, and has existed as a city-state prior to the formation of Bupilasu, before joining the country at large. It has retained its historical name throughout its growth period, and it has grown substantially since the first settlers lived here. The original old wooden walls of the settlement have been improved, pushed out, and expanded over 15 times throughout Belterus' history. The large stone walls that stand today do keep the city fortified, though they mostly exist now as a show of Belterus' power and have little to do with defense of the city. The city is also a hub for trade, much like Nexus City to the north, and has a variety of exports from further inland, imports from the cities across the Ocean of Dayride, and is also home to many skilled craftsmen that make their living by their artisan wares. In more recent years, Belterus is also the hometown of now world-renowned Dr. Urag. His invention of Arcanitech brought fame to Belterus, functionally putting the city on the global map. One of the great libraries of Bupilasu that exist within the city have records that indicate Belterus' trade economy nearly tripling when Arcanitech was established as a prospective business opportunity that would pave the road for the future. Despite Dr. Urag's move to Nexus City more recently, his original laboratory remains operational in Belterus, and is open for tours into the workplace of the genius scientist. Dr. Urag was also instrumental in revitalizing and growing the Belterus Research Institute of Science, which is now a prestigious university that produces scholarly graduates that are then recruited to work across companies throughout Bupilasu and Ayazlan at large. Even after Dr. Urag's move northward, his legacy remains a highly discussed subject and continues to bring trade and prosperity to Belterus. Dr. Urag is not, however, the only important figure from this city. Sparks, the director of the Order of the Ten Sigils, commands the entire operation of the OTS from the OTS headquarters within Belterus. Albeit, Sparks is not known as a public figure, and the OTS is known by only a few people, but that should not detract from the organization's ties to the city. The OTS, since its founding, has expanded across the continent of Ayazlan, but it all started with just a few people, right here in Belterus. Additionally, nationally famous chef Martha Quickvale both lives in and runs her famous cafe, Red Velvet, in the city. Martha Quickvale, younger sister to Trixie Quickvale, lives with her parents in the Palm Island residences. Likely one of the nicer housing districts in Belterus, Palm Island is two small island neighborhoods that sit about 50 to 60 feet off the shoreline of the main city of Belterus proper. Some of the best beaches in the city are found along these islands. The other beaches in the city have been built on to make up the expansive Belterus Harbor, which is on the city's western edge. Weather in Belterus, like much of the rest of the Pinop region, is subtropical throughout most of the year. Temperatures tend to fluctuate between averages of 60 to 90 degrees, though it is regularly humid year-round. Fog is less common in this area of the bay, as strong ocean breezes tend to keep the visibility clear. During flood season, however, Belterus is prone to hurricanes moving inland that form in the day-ridden ocean, and strong thunderstorms are common in this area of Bupilasu during that time. It is also during this time that the harbor of Belterus, and Belterus as a whole, tends to be much less lively. Not only is Belterus a hub for trade, but it is also connected in terms of travel by roadways. To the northeast, the Pinop Coastal Roadway follows the shoreline of the Pinop Bay all the way to Nexus City. To the southwest, the same roadway runs to Cliffterra. A third inland road crosses the Pinop Plains and rolling hills and connects the city to Prenum. And of course, the bustling harbor reaches trade routes to Nexus City, Sunshine City, and the rest of the Cetus archipelago, and even some destinations across the ocean. We hope you've enjoyed this closer look at the city of Belterus and have found the details about it to your interest. Home to beautiful ports, the birthplace of Arcanitech, and the commanding headquarters of the OTS, Belterus is a city that has many things to offer to many people. That's all for this episode of Where in the World. We'll see you next time.